Welcome to the Creative Brew, helping you keep your creative juices brewing. We're giving out chunks of insight, motivation, and practicality for your creative journey. We've got some great partners with the Creative Brew. First of all, Panels Comics and Coffee Bar here in beautiful Oceanside, California, right off of Mission Avenue. They've got some of the hottest graphic novels and comics out right now. They also have a wide assortment of merchandise, toys, as well as back issue vintage comic books, and that I'm sure has some hidden gems in there. If you mention the Creative Brew, you'll get 10% off of your next purchase. You can also check them out on social media at Panels Coffee or go to panelscoffee.com. My next partner is Elevate Coffee Trading, and if you appreciate specialty coffee, enjoy outdoor adventure, and love helping elevate the lives of children around the world, then you're going to love Elevate Coffee Trading. Their mission is to extract hope through love, coffee, and adventures. There's free shipping in the United States, and every bag of coffee helps sponsor health and education for children in coffee-producing countries and in areas of need in the United States. You can use promo code ELEVATE21 on your next order, and you can follow their journey on social media at Elevate Coffee Trading. Or you can visit online at elevatecoffeetrading.com, and let's start extracting hope together. Another partner of mine is Astropad. And if you're a digital creator like me and you constantly use your iPad Pro, you can actually use Astropad to change your graphics tablet into another professional graphics tablet. So you can use Photoshop, full versions of Adobe Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, all your favorite programs right on your iPad Pro or graphics tablet. This has been an awesome tool for me because I'm always having to do some fine-tuning, editing, repainting, recoloring on various design projects or working on logos. Astropad is a huge asset for me. For teachers and students and educators, they actually have a great deal going on right now. This is an annual subscription, so it's a subscription app, but it's been a huge tool for me, and I don't know what I would do without Astropad. So you can check them out at Astropad app or go to astropad.com. And my last sponsor is the Cobo Pod. The Cobo Pod is a boutique video and audio production studio based in Oceanside, California. And if you're a podcaster, vlogger, content creator, you should really come by and check out the venue for yourself. Anytime that I bring in a guest, they're amazed by the setup, amazed by the quality, the production value. Like I said, I think the Creative Brew just went up a notch. I actually went up incredible levels partnering up with the Cobo Pod and been able to create, 4K video. Everything looks great. Even the photographer that we have on staff, I use a lot of their photography for branded assets for the Creative Brew, as well as the audio for my podcast and my radio show. So if you want to feel like booking your session, and maybe you're thinking about, starting a podcast, or maybe, heck, you want to just sit in one day, I'm doing a podcast or I'm doing a show. Hey, come by, check it out. See the venue, see the setup, check out everybody. It's a great vibe here. But let's book your session today at cobopod.org. And welcome to a new episode of the Creative Brew, giving you insights on your creative journey. And today we're bringing back a past guest. So if you hadn't listened to the earlier episode, I always like doing this because I guess I love seeing people's journeys and their transitions and what's happened over the course of a year or two. So we've been bringing back a couple of past guests. But if you hadn't checked out our previous episode with Julia with Studio Ace, and you don't know her, now it's a good chance. Once you hear this, it'll be a good chance to sort of hear her story and hear Studio Ace and everything that they're doing in Oceanside and the surrounding areas. So Julia, I'll let you sort of introduce yourself and reintroduce yourself.
Exactly. Well, it's great to be back on here again. Thank you for having me.
Not a problem.
Appreciate it. So I first was on with you when I first had opened Studio Ace, at least the brick and mortar. So that I go back a little bit. I was where my journey here in Oceanside really started was as I was getting my master's degree in art history at San Diego State, was going to teach at the community colleges, and then the recession hit in 2009. So started volunteering at the Oceanside Museum of Art, and that turned into a full-time job, and I wound up being director of education there.
Oh, wow.
And really built their entire education department.
Oh, wow.
And we did a classroom as well and did a whole Kickstarter campaign for that. But that's really where my passion really became alive for arts education. I'd always loved art. I have a degree in art and in finance. But just to see what even 45 minutes in a museum would do for a kid or for a senior, or to explain something to them, you just saw light bulbs go on in their head and smiles and things changing. And so it just really became a passion to do arts education. And then I left the museum and then actually was at the Museum of Making Music for about a year and a half, and had meanwhile opened up incorporated Studio Ace. And then in June of 2018, we opened our brick and mortar out in the valley next to the Mission branch of the library.
Yeah.
And that, which is where we are now, and it's been quite an adventure ever since.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. Now, for anyone that doesn't know Studio Ace Arts, they have a wide variety of arts classes, workshops now, and she'll talk about it a little bit more. And they've now expanded to a art store and actually expanded to another part of that building to where you can offer more things.
Exactly. So kind of as a result of the pandemic, which we were very lucky, a donor, we recognized that we really couldn't fit in our smaller space. We had about 600 square feet. And so there was a space 2 doors down that was 1,000 square feet, and that is now our new classroom.
Wow.
So we can fit 20 kids in there, socially distanced very easily. And so it's just amazing to have that beautiful space. And then the original space is now a little art store and gallery.
Yeah. So, with I would assume with everybody with the pandemic and everything that's happened over the course of a year, because I brought on other past guests, and everybody has went a completely it's been a roller coaster ride. It's been the ups and downs. Quick shout out to my buddy Kano, who has his own podcast and brand, Caffeine and Green, and he's got his own coffee and everything going. But quick shout out to him, because the COVID did not treat him very well at all. But now it's sort of great because he was able to get himself out of that, and now he's going stronger than ever. But even with Studio Ace, how what happened, and then how were you able to sort of transition?
So of course we found out that we had to close down on March 13th. And by March 17th, we'd actually created 250 art kits that the public signed up for them, that they could come and pick up. And of course we thought, oh, this is just going to be 2 weeks. This is great. We're able to do this. And then a year and a half later now, we've done over 8,000 art kits. So it just kept kind of rolling. And then the library noticed that we were doing those, and they were doing the free meal pickup for the Oceanside Unified School District. And they were having parents in there saying, we don't even have paper or pencils at our house. And it just, breaks your heart. And so we worked with them, and we created over 4,000 kits for the school district. So
That's
that
amazing.
the kids could pick up with their meals when they were picking those up.
That's great.
Yeah. And then we also worked with the USO Camp Pendleton, and we provided them about 1,500 kits over the course of the whole pandemic. And then Boys and Girls Club, Solutions for Change, and then a lot just opened for the public to come and pick up as well.
Yeah. I sort of found that amazing. Like, the more I start to ingrain myself in organizations like Studio Ace, and even working with Humanity Showers and other organizations, I'm amazed at as far as how many people are actually struggling. I really didn't realize it until I started, working with all these organizations, that like, wow, there's a lot of people that need help.
Yeah.
Even with just basic, kids that don't have pencils or paper.
Exactly.
Those are things that, I know just being an artist sort of growing up, like I took that for granted. Like, I know there was always paper or a pencil around.
Yeah.
I never really even considered that, like, you don't have anything. And that's, I think that's tragic, because there's, even with the creative community around here and how huge it is, it's still overwhelming that, there is a large demographic that doesn't, they don't have access to things
any
like that.
access to that. Yeah. And we also put up an art line outside that we had coloring sheets. And whenever we get extra colored pencils, we'd put those on there so that people could pick those up as well. And we continue that to this day. And I'm starting to hear it now that we're out and about more. I hear it all over town. We're like, that's the place that gives away the free coloring sheets.
Yeah.
So you can always come by and pick those up.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I know personally for me, I know I help, donate in some form or fashion to
very generous
to that. And I don't know, it just makes me feel good. And plus I am always an advocate for like just the creativity in general. And I know that with me growing up, I've always sort of been in that creative space, and I had the outlet, always had the outlet to sort of nurture that. And there's so many talented people and kids around here, and it's just it's heartbreaking to where they may not have access to that, and you just don't know. It could be the next great talent come out of Oceanside, but if they don't have access to it, then
and no one pushes them or encourages them or just allows them just to be in there and draw. And we just get kids who are just so happy just to be in a class. And because now we're being back again, we've had just a huge amount of people saying, how many classes and when is it going to open up? And I'm like, how are we going to do this in our tiny space? But then we got the bigger classroom space, and so it's been amazing.
That's great. And that was a great turnout. I was able to come by and check out the grand opening. Yeah. And that was a great turnout. Had the Oceanside Chamber and a lot of people there, and had a mural revealing. Yes. So shout out. What was the guy's name? I keep forgetting.
Yeah. So it's Michael Summers.
Okay.
And he's actually an Oceanside artist. Yeah. And for anybody out there, he is the artist that did the tiger mural in Carlsbad.
Yeah, if anyone doesn't know it, it's a very colorful. Yes. I know I see it all the time.
Yes. So come by ours, you can see it. And we were so lucky. Michael actually donated that to us just because he believed in what we were doing. Like, we've had so many wonderful people like you doing that. And and the title is Be Kind, which we also have on the wall. Yeah. Just because, again, in this whole era of this, we just have to remember just a little kindness goes a long way.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the truth. That is the truth. So what with Studio Ace right now, what things, especially going into sort of 2022, I know that you've been very really lucky to be able to get some new funding and things of that sorts for the shop and for Studio Ace. What things do you sort of see, I guess, in 2022 that?
What has been really interesting for us is, so we have all our classes are back, and like we even have $5 classes for kids because we wanted to be accessible and affordable. Mm-hmm. And one big plan also for next year is to try to do a free art class a month for the other, like for seniors and for adults, just so anybody could have a chance to come in and do at least something once a month. And then we just received a grant from Blue Shield Promise, and we've seen this. We've written a couple of other grants about helping people through coping with COVID, and not the disease, but the emotional toll of it, and just so we're doing a program for teens, doing a journaling program. Oh, wow. Where they'll get a whole bunch of art supplies and journals, and just learn to be able to express themselves through journaling. Yeah, but then they'll have enough supplies and journal to continue with it. So it won't just end even after we have the classes.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask, if you were doing more, especially with everything that's happened, if you was doing more like art therapy and.
Absolutely.
I know, do you ever see like any, I know you're starting to partner up with Camp Pendleton. I didn't know if you see more kids or you see maybe actual like military like wanting to come in there and do art
and want to do that. So we just wrote a grant, so fingers crossed we get it, with the Blue Star families, which is to support current military families. Yeah. And again, that was also for social emotional help, and that again for the teens, because they have really suffered so much through this, more so than some other age groups. So we are super happy to be working with them, and the same with the USO. We actually were able to do a couple of in-person events with them. Yeah. and which was really great. But just to have you just get the families there, and they're sitting there with their kids and making art projects and no screens, and they're, everyone's doing something different. And again, you just see that clicking, that it's like, I'm not thinking about anything else but what's in front of me.
Yeah.
And it just kind of frees your brain up.
Yeah, that's what I tell people. Like even when I do a lot of these coffee cups and stuff, I tell people it's like that's a stress reliever for me.
Yeah.
A lot of times I just have so much going on through the course of the week. Like if I can just sit down and just draw on something for at least 2 hours, that eases my mind. I could just focus on just that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's great. I know even journaling, it's starting to turn into a lost art.
Yes.
not a lot of kids know how to how to write anymore.
No, and that's another. We've actually even thought of doing cursive classes.
Yeah.
Just because that it's now it seems meditative, because everyone just knows how to print. But
yep.
But anything to get that out is just amazing.
Yeah, lost art. I still do journaling. I've actually been journaling since '98, and I journal everything's in cursive.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's just. I've always practiced on it, but it's amazes me that there's a lot of kids that can't do it anymore.
That don't know it, and we've had interesting that kids can't even read cursive writing.
Yeah,
and you're like, oh,
it's amazing. I mean, I don't know if that's scary or not, especially with like new kids that's coming in, and like even like with my grandkids, or even with my little nieces and nephews, like they're used to looking at the screen and swiping. A little 4 or 5 year old kid, like they look and they hit certain buttons and they swipe. Like being able to actually get a book and sort of read it and comprehend it and understand it.
And take art supplies, and you've got paper and pencil and glue and this, and now you have to think in your brain, how am I going to manipulate this to do that, which is, it's just so it's always just such a joy to see any age kids.
Yeah.
So
what about the adults? Do you find themselves sort of maybe feeling like, maybe they felt like they've never been creative, and they get into a class and they feel like, wow, I can actually do this.
Exactly. And that's our big thing is like, first, there's no mistakes in art. So you can come in, and we have amazing teachers who also will bring, beginners. We have our watercolor teacher. He teaches beginners and people who have been with him for 8 years in the same class, but he meets them where they're at.
Yeah.
And it's not threatening, and not, you have to do it this way. It's just, as he says, it's like, it's water and a brush and paint and paper. He goes, you can't go wrong. Just throw water and paint on there and have fun with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
And also too, I know you had actually started the Valley Art Festival.
Yes.
Tell. I guess you can tell the audience a little bit about that.
Exactly. So the Valley Arts Festival, it kind of came out of Black Lives Matter and everything. And we started talking about what can we do to help our community. And and really we had to do it through the arts, because we were mission driven. And so we kept trying to profile, BIPOC artists even on Instagram and things like that. And then we met with Mel Vernon, who's the captain of the San Luis Rey Band of Mission Indians, and proposed doing a festival to celebrate the arts and culture of the Luiseño tribe.
Yeah.
And those were the original indigenous people who lived here in Oceanside. And there's actually 7 different tribes throughout San Diego County. And so it was really an amazing process to go through. And so we created the festival there, and everything at the festival had to do with the Luiseño culture. And so we had the basket weaving, all the native music, we had the flute playing, we had a mural that was a day in the life of the Luiseño, then we had sand painting and rock painting, and then of course the Indian fry bread, which was amazing.
Yeah.
And
I have to slow down on that. I can't mess with that too much. I end up gaining like 20 pounds.
Exactly. Oh yeah. It was, they said they actually ran out about 2 hours into it.
I could believe that.
Yeah. And they're like, and they were just amazed at how many people were there, and it was so gratifying for us that the community came out and learned something about, and that was really our purpose, is learn who was here and about them, and then it's not so frightening anymore.
Oh yeah.
And we get to learn about each other, and through the arts is really our goal.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. I've sort of found myself wanting to learn more about the cultures around
Yeah.
here, and yeah, even I know I'll usually go to the St. Louis Raid, the powwow.
Yeah.
I know they didn't have it this year, but
Right.
I think they're supposed to be having it, this coming up year. But
Yeah.
I enjoy, going to a lot of those events and just seeing the different tribes and the cultures.
Exactly. And you see a lot of ceremonies there
Yeah.
as well, which was very cool. So they're preserving that. And I think what they really enjoyed about the Valley Arts Festival was that it just celebrated just the arts and culture.
Mm-hmm.
And so trying to learn about how they lived and what life was like for them.
Yeah.
And
Now,
right here.
Now, do you see yourself now? That sort of leads into a interesting question. Do you see yourself even with Studio Ace? I mean, now you're starting even with the Valley Art Festival. Do you see yourself sort of trying to bring in more indigenous art and things into
Absolutely.
Studio Ace? Yeah.
Yeah. So with Diana Caudell, who is actually Mel's sister, she is a basket weaver with the California Indian Basket Association. And so she's going to be teaching some classes at Studio Ace. And then we're also going to try to start doing some language teaching through Instagram and Facebook.
Oh, that's awesome.
As well, so that you can.
I think I'd do that class.
Yeah, yeah. So her baskets are amazing, and then also doing some specific collage using the rattles, and because she said it's about using your own symbols though, so you can use your own symbols and with theirs, and so it's been wonderful for us, and we are so excited to be able to widen everyone's knowledge of this beautiful culture.
Yeah, it's Oceanside. It's a very interesting area. You got all these cultures, between the indigenous tribes, between white, black, Polynesian,
absolutely,
Korean. It's just all sort of mishmashed into one city.
Our little melting pot, right?
Yeah,
here.
it's amazing. I mean, I know I see it every time I go to the Sunset Market.
Yeah.
I was just like, I see just people like all kinds of people.
Exactly.
That's the one thing I do enjoy. I know anytime I go back, I love my hometown from Tennessee. But anytime I go in there, it's it's sort of limited on the culture there. But I love my hometown, but I always love coming back and you're coming back to Oceanside and you see all kinds of people.
It is, and for us in the strip mall next to the library is just the culture that walks through there every day is just amazing.
Yeah.
And meeting different people and seeing all that is just super fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So right now, I mean, what things are inspiring you right now?
It really is just seeing the kids back in the art classes. We also just started a partnership with El Corazon Senior Center.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been doing classes for the seniors, and they're having the same issues that the kids are having, and that isolation because they were home, and even though they could be on Zoom and do all that, but we did a series of I would do a lecture, and then we would do a project based on the lecture.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we did Grandma Moses and Faith Ringgold with quilting, and then Claude Monet. But the same. You're just seeing the same thing. They're happy to be in an environment and a creative. And again, we're like, they're like, we can't do this. We're like, well, there's no mistakes. And every artist started as an amateur.
Yes.
So you can get there, and then just to see what everyone comes up with, and they don't think that they can do it. And it's just like, just start working.
Yeah.
And we had even one lady came in with her mother, and she said her mother's starting to go towards dementia, and she's like, this class has just been amazing for her.
Yeah.
And so it's just to bring, again, because it's like you don't even need, that isn't an issue either. Mm-hmm. It's just come in and create.
Yeah. Do you think that helps with people maybe with Parkinson's or anything like that, as far as being able to be in those kind of
I think so.
classes?
I think it's and then I have one of our teachers, she actually works at a Alzheimer's place and with memory care and assisted living. And just anything to help manipulating with their hands, changes their brain. Mm-hmm. Again, all that. I think it really does make a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
creative tips. You've done this before. What is a creative tip or tips for our audience?
So I actually asked for the first time ever, we have a full-time art teacher, Laura Callies. So I asked her to provide the tips. And her first thing was that just use what you have. And she's like, you don't need a fancy studio and you don't need fancy pens and pencils and all that. That's great to have. But she's like, if it's, a newspaper and a pencil, just pick up and start drawing and just be creative and know that you have everything you need. And which is mostly what's inside here. Just try to get it out.
Yep.
Do that.
That is something I know I tell myself personally every day, and I know I try to reiterate it here on the show and with the people that I'm around. You that nailed it on the head. I mean, you got everything you need.
We have it all there.
I know my mom actually started me. I mean, my mom was actually a pretty good artist, and she still does some stuff, couple little things, but she taught me. She started out with me creating collages and paper mache sculptures, and I would create. Like even with I'd get all my little G.I. Joes and stuff.
Yeah.
But I would create all these paper mache fortresses and
Exactly.
everything. And
Exactly.
that was how I started. Then I went from there to collages and started using newspaper and all kinds of stuff to make collages.
And out of the trash to treasure and all that.
Yep.
Yeah. And her other tip also was if you're feeling stuck, like you don't know what to do, she said, walk into a creative place, walk into to a studio, to a museum, to a gallery, and just see what other people are doing and be inspired by them as well.
Yep. Yeah, that's a great tip.
Yeah.
That's a great tip. Well, going into words of wisdom, what are some, you gave us some great tips, but what are some words of wisdom? Maybe it's something that may listen to this when this releases or maybe a year from now, and they happen to catch this episode. What are some words of wisdom that you can tell anybody?
So really, I mean, I was thinking about this and looking back over the whole pandemic, and I'm a big fan of Star Wars and what Rose Trico said. It's like we win by not fighting what we hate, but by saving what we love. And so in all of this, and for me, what I love is the arts. And so for me, it's really important that we, preserve it and make it thrive and provide opportunities for it, and which is really what our goal is. And so it's find what makes you passionate and go, try to be positive about that and try to let all this negative stuff fall away with it as well.
Wow, that's good. That's a good one. Well, going into the last little line of questioning, what projects are you brewing on right now? And I know you've talked about it a little bit, but what projects are coming up on the horizon?
So again, we're super excited to be doing a lot of these, the teen health, mental health with social emotional as well. We're also working on a program to have a free art class for probably the kids and adults and seniors every month. And then since we're able to get back out a lot more, just helping people with festivals. In February, we're actually going to be working with the San Diego deaf community and doing art projects for them at one of their festivals.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, which is amazing. And so we just really hope to, again, anybody who wants, if they're having an event and they want an art project, we'd love to be there and provide an art project because for me, I think art is part of everything. It's part of math and science, and having all these building blocks or learning how to build things through art is going to help you in no matter what subject that you go into. And so that's what we just want to be able to provide for this community, because it's an amazing community.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Well, I mean, that's been a very enlightening episode. And like I said, a lot of things going on at Studio Ace. They're here in Oceanside. You're not making a second Studio Ace anytime soon, are you, right now?
Well, I've had people ask, so we'll see what we can brew up. We'll say.
But hey, I've been fortunate to be able to create this relationship with Julia and everyone there, and they've got all kinds of services, classes, workshops. So if you're interested in the arts, or if your kid is wanting to get into the arts and they don't have access, come down to Studio Ace,
Please.
check it out. And like I said, they offer everything that you could possibly think of. And then also too, if you're a creator and you're an artist and you're trying to figure out, this is the biggest thing I hear all the time. I get messages all the time. How do I get my stuff out there? I don't have any opportunities. I've got my artwork, but I don't know where to go. Studio Ace actually has an art store now. So if you have items, you have a collection, connect with Julia and everyone down there, and they can get you set up. If you got inventory or you got items, hey, you're wanting to sort of promote and put out, they have art shop now, and it's seasonal. So you've got the opportunity to create things all through the year, put stuff out there, promote it. So that's something that right now I really believe that there's no excuses. You make your own excuse. I mean, if you want to reach out, get connected. And I know sometimes the hardest thing is feeling like, well, what if no one buys my stuff? I know that's another fear for a lot of artists, but you have to put yourself out there first. Yes. Don't worry about that. Create your audience, create awareness. Learn how to just be confident about your artwork, or your designs. People, your right audience will come to you. Don't worry about that. Just be consistent, show up. How can people get connected with you, with everything that you've got going on?
So we're next to the Mission branch of the library at Mission and El Camino Real. So we have, our website is www.studioace.org. My email is julia@studioace.org. So you can always contact me. We're also looking for teachers. And if anybody has extra art supplies in their garage they want to get rid of, we'll take those too. Then we're on Instagram as well and Facebook. The sign is @StudioAceArts there. Or just stop by and come in and see us. So we have colored pencils on the windows. You can't miss us.
Well, hey, like I said, this has been, and actually, you know what? I'm actually wearing a Create What You Love hoodie. And I've got all kinds of assorted colors there, but it's available at Studio Ace Arts. If you're wanting to come by, check it out. Maybe you're thinking about something for the holiday. It does get a little chilly around here in Oceanside around this time, so it might be a good idea to maybe grab a hoodie. So I have this, and there'll be some other merchandise here coming up in 2022, but this is available. So I get people love the colors, and they were like, oh, where you get this at? It's at Studio Ace. Colors. Yeah. So so quick shout out, the hoodie I'm wearing, it is available at Studio Ace Arts. So once again, hey, this has been another great episode with me, with Julia. Thank you for coming on for another episode. I appreciate it. And like I said, great success to what you're doing there at Studio Ace, and to a great new year. For everyone else, this may or may not be the last episode of the year. I don't know yet, but if not, happy holidays to you, and and wishing you a very successful and great 2022. So once again, this is the Creative Brew. Be creative, stay inspired.